Good morning, class. Today we'll be discussing demand prediction models and demand planning. Demand prediction models, it is very crucial for the demand planning as we have discussed that the proper, accurate demand forecasting is the core of the supply chain management, as all the elements of the supply chain management can work efficiently only when the demand forecasting is proper. In the last video, we also have discussed what are the sources from where we can collect the demand. We discussed that we can collect the demand data from the sales of point, from the interaction, from the feedback forms and all these things. Now we'll be discussing in this video what are the models that are available for the demand prediction, okay, and the demand planning. So you know that demand prediction and all these things can help in the proper forecasting of business. Okay. And here are the models that we are to discuss. The first is the time series forecasting. So this is one such model that can be used to analyze the collected data, the data that we have collected through point of sales, through feedback forms and all these things. So now those data can be analyzed with the help of one model which is known as time series forecasting. So basically when you want to analyze the historical data being collected, because historical data is generally collected for a long period of time like 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. Like if these number of years you want to know the averages, or you want to know on the basis of the past data you want to predict the future, then you can use the time series forecasting. So time series forecasting is basically based on the historical data. It considers the trend. With this you can get the trend, you can get the cyclic effect, you can get the seasonal variables. Okay, so what are the common time series forecasting models that are being used? The first one is moving average. Most of you have seen the stock market analysis has been done with the help of time series, because you by seeing the chart you want to know what was the trend, and ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ ट्रेंड यू प्रिडिक्ट द फ्यूचर, है ना? तो उसके लिए आप नॉर्मली मूविंग एवरेज यूज कर लेते हो. मूविंग एवरेज में बेसिकली क्या होता है? इट टेक्स द एवरेज ऑफ द फिक्स सबसेट ऑफ द डेटा, ऑफ द पास्ट डेटा बेसिकली. दूसरा है एक्सपोनेंशियल स्मूथिंग. एक्सपोनेंशियल स्मूथिंग में आप क्या करते हो कि आप वेटेड एवरेज लेते हो. रेदर देन जस्ट टेकिंग द मीन एवरेज, यू टेक द वेटेड एवरेज ऑफ द पास्ट डेटा एंड देन दोस आर बीइंग एनालाइज्ड. नेक्स्ट इज अरीमा, which is known as auto regressive integrated moving average. It is basically a complex approach as compared to the above two models. So it helps it in this model basically it uses the difference of the raw data to make a time series stationary. Means the mean and the variance, they do not change over time. However, this is being used when when the data is being modeled using the ARMA or auto regressive moving average method. So basically you don't have to dig deep into each of the methods, you just have to know the name and what analysis it is doing basically. So moving average, exponential, ARIMA, or all these models of the time series forecasting. So on the basis of the historical data being collected, these can help you to analyze those historical data. The next is the causal model. Causal models means the historical data has already been analyzed through the time series, but still there are certain variables which the time series has not taken into account, like the external variables. Okay, so the external variable or events that is not being captured by the historical data can be captured and can be analyzed using the causal model. So basically all the factors that affects the demand, the external factors that affect the demand, such as marketing activity, the economic condition of the country, or the competitors. Okay, so all these things are not being covered in the historical data, but they do affect the demand and thus need to be analyzed well. So here we can use the causal model, and what you can do is you can run the regression. So regression analysis can be done. Regression is basically you have a dependent variable and independent variable. You can take n number of independent variable and see its impact or cause and effect relationship on the dependent variable. So in basically regression we do this cause and effect relationship. We try to understand what will be the effect on the dependent variable if we change these independent variables. So you can just check the effect on the sales, the profit, whatever your dependent variables will be. Okay, so regression model, we build the relationship between demand and one or more of the independent variable. We can also run the multiple regression, where we take multiple independent variables and multiple dependent variables. The next one is econometric model, where it is a basically it is a complex form of regression. It basically incorporates the all the economic principles that are being used for long term forecasting. Okay, and it basically has multiple external factors that are taken into account. So all these are the causal models. Okay, the next is machine learning model. So nowadays, when we are using big data and we have all these complex algorithms, we generally, the companies, they go for machine learning models, because machine learning models, these they help in having an accurate demand forecasting, because they take up the real data, they take they take up the large set of data and all the variables and the complex uncovered and non-linear relationships are also being taken into account. Okay, so one of the example of this model is the decision tree. The decision tree we have discussed in the class, but still, mm, decision tree or the and demand forest, these are basically a model in which you use the, it is basically used for classification of the regression task. Okay, so the regression tasks are being classified, they work basically well with the non-linear data, and it can be used to solve the complex interaction between features. Okay, so although very much discussion is not required for all of these models, but still, if you want, if you demand, that we can have a discussion on all these models in a with examples also. But here you just need to know that the decision tree is one example of machine learning model. It is based on the big data, where the real time data is being collected and it is used for the regression task. Okay, the next is neutral networks. Neutral networks are basically, it is used for large and complex data sets, where the data is very large, and neutral networks, they can use, they can help in uh, intricating the pattern in data. They can help in getting the pattern in the data and making them suitable for the dynamic market, which is being influenced by many factors. Okay, and the next is support vector machines. So support vector machines, it is being developed for classification task. Okay, so SVMs or support vector machine, they are being adapted to regression. Okay, because it is capable of modeling the complex relationship with high accuracy. So these are the basic models that are being used for the accurate demand forecasting. The last one we are discussing is the ensemble method. Ensemble method, basically it combines the prediction from several all other models to improve. Okay, several all other models to improve the accuracy, right? So one such example or one such model is boosting. So an ensemble technique is being used that combines several weak models sequentially to create a strong predictive model. Next is bagging, that is known as bootstrap aggregating. It involves training and multiple models with reassembled data and then aggregating the prediction to enhance the accuracy and stability. Okay. The last one is the advanced statistical model. So in advanced, like the traditional methods where we were using the this one the time series and all these, the advanced techniques like Bayesian models or these MCMC, that is Markov chain, Monte Carlo, all these methods are being used to capture the uncertainty in the future. So these uncertainties in the future, the risk can be captured, and this helps in estimating the and it is basically based on the probability distribution, right? So those uncertainties can also be captured through advanced statistical models. Okay, so these are few of the models that we have discussed is used for demand forecasting. Please remember these models, because this is very important for your exam point of view. And thus we can just discuss that